Hello everyone, I see Rajat. Welcome you all to EduTap. I hope you are fit and fine. So this is the important MCQ series for company law SEBI Grade A 2020 examination. And in this particular video, we shall be discussing the most awaited chapter of this series. I have read many comments. Many of the students are asking for this particular chapter. So here we bring to you chapter number 4, share capital and debentures. So since it is a very big chapter, it is having approximately 29 to 30 sections. So I have broken down into 3 parts. So here we shall be discussing the first part. Important information for you guys. As you all know, we all are working from home. So since we are working from home, so you might find some technical or audio issues. So please bear it with us. Stay home, stay safe and stay online. These are some of our previous results. So EduTap has been constantly giving great results. So in the bar grade 2019 examinations, out of the 41 seats, 25 selections were from EduTap. In the bar grade B 2019 examination, out of 8 seats, 4 selections were from EduTap. RBI grade B 2019, 215 plus calls have already been there for our students for interviews. 18 NABARD graded 2018 examination, out of 46 seats, 25 selections were from EduTap. SEBI graded 2018 examination, out of 84 seats, 41 selections were from EduTap. RBI grade B 2018, out of 127 seats, 72 selections were from EduTap. Now moving on to first question. So please keep it in mind, this video is very simple. Okay. So the questions I have asked are very basic questions. So I expect that everyone should score 7 on 7 on this in this particular video. Okay, so do let me know at the end of the video in the comment section that if you were able to score 7 out of 7 or not, because these are very basic questions. Question is, the basic difference between preference shares and equity shares are that preference shareholders have a priority over dash over equity shareholders. So preference shareholders have a priority over equity shareholders. That's why they know the preference shareholder, because we prefer them. So for what of the following things preference shareholders have a priority over the equity shareholders? So is it for the payment of dividend, for the repayment of capital at the time of winding up, both of the above or none of the above? A, B, C and D. Please answer in the comment box your answer. Easy question. See, the basic difference between equity and preference are, when we talk about dividend, in the case of equity shareholders, they will get dividend prior to preference shareholders, number 1. Then equity shareholders, they are the ultimate owners. Okay, so they will be getting the dividend at end. So there is no fixed rate of dividend. If the company is having good profit, then it will pay dividend to equity shareholders. If the company is not having good profits, then there is no need to pay dividend to the equity shareholders. So the dividend rate is not fixed, it is fluctuating, while the dividend rate of preference shareholder is prefixed. Now when I talk about repayment of capital, suppose the company is winding up. Okay, so preference shareholders will get their capital prior to equity shareholders. So once all the creditors, debenture holders have been done, their money have been repaid, then preference shareholders will be repaid, and after that, if any money is left, equity shareholders will be repaid. The preference shareholders have priority over equity shareholder for the dividend also and for the repayment of capital at the winding up also. Okay, so in the particular question, the answer shall be C, both of the above. Now moving to question number 2 is asking, shares and debentures are dash. So what type of properties are shares and debentures? Are they movable property, immovable property, fictitious assets, or none of the above? So shares and debentures are movable property, immovable, fictitious, or none of the above. You know fictitious assets, na? Like intangible assets or fictitious assets or miscellaneous expenditure, preliminary expenditure, they all are fictitious assets. So shares and debentures are what type of assets? Easy question. In section 44, the second section of this particular chapter, that shares and debentures in the company. If you are holding the shares and debentures in the company, then that shares and debentures are movable property. Okay, so they can be transferable. And how they are transferable? By the method and the procedure that is given in the articles of the company. So shares and debentures, like other movable property, these are also movable. These are not just paper. Okay, so these are basically the rights, the right of a member in the ownership of the company. Okay, so these are movable property. So here the answer shall be A, movable property. Moving to question number 3 is asking if a company issues duplicate shares with intent to defraud any person. So the intention is to defraud the other person. The maximum penalty on the company shall be dash or 10 crores, whichever is higher. Note down, I am asking the maximum penalty, not the minimum penalty. And the case is when the company is issuing duplicate shares, okay? Duplicate shares and the intent of the company is to defraud the other person. So the maximum penalty shall be higher of 10 crores or 5 times the face value of shares, 5 times the market value of the shares, 10 times the face value of the shares, or 10 times the market value of the shares. So what is the maximum penalty? I have told you penalties are very important. Do remember each and every penalty. They are very important. They can be asked in your examination. Okay. So the penalty here shall be, in section 46 it is clearly mentioned that if a company with intent to defraud issues a duplicate certificate of shares, then the penalty on the company shall be minimum 5 times the face value of the shares and maximum 10 times the face value or 10 crore, whichever is higher. Okay, the minimum 5 times of face value, maximum 10 times of face value or 10 crore, whichever is higher. And every officer in the company who is in default, he shall be liable under section 447. 447 I have explained you detailed in the course. Okay, so 447 is a penal clause. So every officer of the company, if who is responsible for this duplicate share issue, duplicate certificate issue, and the intention is malified, the intention is to defraud others, so he shall be liable under section 447. Here we have asked about the company and the maximum penalty be 10 times the face value of share. The answer is C. Moving. So when the dividend in respect of a class of preference shares has not been paid for a period of dash years, okay, the dividend has not been paid for a period of dash years, then such class of preference shareholders shall have a right to vote on all the resolutions placed before the company. So I have already explained you in the course that preference shareholders have a right to vote only on certain matters. But if their dividend is not paid for dash years, okay, so they have a right to vote on all the resolutions placed before the company. So in this case, for how many years? For how many years, if the dividend is not paid, then they have a right to vote on all the resolutions. So is it 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years? Answer in the comment box. I am waiting. Okay, so moving. This provision is given in section 47, that is about the voting rights, that normally preference shareholders, they have a right to vote only on resolutions which either directly affect their rights or the resolution regarding the winding of the capital or reduction of capital or repayment of equity or preference share capital. So normally they have a right to vote on these issues only. They are not liable to vote on any other issues. But if the company has not paid dividend to them for 2 years or more, for consecutively 2 years or more, the company is unable to pay them dividend, then they have a right to vote on all the resolutions of the company. Okay, when the dividend is not paid to them for 2 years or more, then they have a right to vote on all the resolutions placed before the company. So 2 years, okay. So when the dividend in respect of a class of preference shares has not been paid for a period of 2 years, then such class of preference shareholders shall have a right to vote on all the resolutions placed before the company. So answer is 2 years. Question number 5. So if the dissenting shareholders, those who have not given their approval, so if the dissenting shareholders did not consent to variation of shareholders' rights, they may apply to tribunal for getting variation cancelled. In this context, what do you mean by dissenting shareholders? Okay. So what is the meaning of dissenting shareholders? Normally dissenting, we can understand the term that someone who has not given his consent. So in the particular case, that when we are talking about the variation of shareholders' right, we are talking about variation of shareholders' right. In that case, what do you mean by dissenting shareholders? So is it holders of minimum 10% of issued shares of a class who did not consent to such variation, or holders of minimum 15% of the issued share of a class who did not consent to such variation, or holder of minimum 25% of issued shares of a class who did not consent to such variation, or holder of 50% of the issued share of a class who did not consent to such variation. So how much holding shall be there of the dissenting shareholders? So they are able to apply to the tribunal for the cancellation of the variation in shareholders' rights. So what is the holding of dissenting shareholders? Easy question. Okay, telling you the answer. So first understand that when the company wishes to vary the shares, okay, when the company wants to vary the rights of a particular class of shares, then it needs two things. One is it needs the consent of 3/4 shareholders of the class of shares of whose rights it is going to change. Consent of 3/4 of the shareholders of the particular class of whose rights are going to be changed, and if the change in rights of one class of shareholders has an effect on some other class of shareholders. If the change in rights of one class of shareholders has a change in the shareholding or rights or other class of shareholders, then their consent, that is 3/4 of the members of the other class of shareholders, the second class of shareholders, their consent should also be taken. Okay, so this is regarding the consent. But if more than 10% or 10% or more than the issued share of such class of people who have not given their consent, okay, so either of the two who has to give their consent, minimum 10% of the people of such class of shares, they are not given their consent. So they will be known as dissenting shareholders, and what they will be doing, they may be applying to the tribunal to have the variation cancelled. So they can apply to the tribunal to have the variation. So in this case, the answer shall be A, holders of minimum 10%. So minimum 10% of the issued share of a class who did not consent to such variation, they shall be known as dissenting shareholders. Securities premium is the difference between dash. So what do you mean by security premium? So is it issue price and face value, issue price and discounted price, market price and issue price, or market price and discounted price? So securities premium is the difference between which of the two? Easy question. You know it in accounts also, you have done it. In law also you have done it. So very easy question. So see, we are talking about security premium account. I'll give you an example that will help you to retain the particular concept. So suppose there is a company which is issuing 1000 shares of the face value of rupees 10 each. The company is issuing 1000 shares of face value of rupees 10 each at rupees 12 per share. So here the face value is rupees 10 and 12 is issue price. Okay, 12 is the issue price. Then security premium account is dash. So the answer here shall be face value is 10, issue price is 12. So the difference between issue price and face value is security premium account. Okay, so 12 minus 10, that is 2 rupees, is the security premium account. So here the total security premium balance shall be 2 rupees for 1000 shares, that is rupees 2000. So we can say security premium account is difference between the issue price and face value, provided issue price is more than face value. If issue price is less than face value, then that shall be shares issued at discount. Clear? You know the answer. The answer is A. Securities premium is the difference between issue price and face value. For which of the following purpose can a company not use its securities premium account? So what are the uses of securities premium account? You must know. You have studied it. Okay. So what is not the usage of securities premium account? So A. Writing of preliminary expenses. B. Buyback of shares. C. Issuing partly paid bonus shares. D. Writing of discount allowed on issue of debentures of company. Very easy question. There are limited uses of securities premium account. You cannot use securities premium account for any other purpose except the following. So which of the following is not a usage of securities premium account? Telling you the answer. So these are only these 5 that I will be telling you. They are the uses of securities premium account. Securities premium account cannot be used for any purpose other than the following. So first is issuing of fully paid up bonus share. Keep it in mind, I am talking about fully paid up bonus shares. Okay. So partly paid up bonus shares cannot be issued with the help of securities premium account. Second is buyback of shares. Okay. Buyback of shares. Third is writing of preliminary expenses. Preliminary expenses are those expenses which have occurred before the company got incorporated. Okay, so any expenses before the incorporation, that was if the promoters entered into some agreement, so that that agreement cost and any feasibility reports that were done before the incorporation, any advocate fees paid or any valuation report for the any fees paid for the valuation report before the incorporation of the company, all such are known as preliminary expenses. So they are capitalized in the books of account and slowly and gradually they are written off. So preliminary expenses can be written off from the securities premium account also. Otherwise we can write off the discount allowed or commission allowed on issue of shares or debentures also from securities premium account. So keep it in mind, either the discount allowed or commission, either it is on issue of shares, issue of preference shares, equity shares or debentures, all of them can be written off using the securities premium account. And last is, we can provide for the redemption of preference shares or debentures, that is the premium or redemption of preference shares and debentures from this securities premium account. So securities premium account can be used to give the premium or redemption to the preference shareholders or the debenture holders. Okay. So for which of the following purpose can a company not use its securities premium account? So it can use for writing of preliminary expenses, it can use for buyback of shares, for writing of discount allowed or commission allowed on issue of shares or debentures also it can use, but it cannot use for issuing partly paid bonus share. It can only use it for fully paid bonus shares. So the answer here shall be C. Okay. So these were some of the questions for today. So I hope you must have scored 7 out of 7 marks in today's test. If you have not scored, so I request you, I urge you to please study hard, prepare well, study smart, study hard, because exam is approaching near. So your preparation should be up to the mark. A lot of students are giving the examination and a lot of actively studying for the examination during the lockdown. Okay, so I hope you will be studying hard so that you can easily clear your examination. I wish you all the best for your examination. Thank you very much. Video.